The Dark Base 700 from Be Quiet features a tempered glass side panel, front panel USB 3.1 Type-C, and a reversible motherboard tray for a complete custom look. Extensive water cooling support and cable management make this a great case for your next silent build. Click the link in the description below for more info. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it is about 7:55 a.m. on Black Friday morning. For those of you who are unaware, Black Friday is the biggest shopping day here in the United States, and it's also the day where you can get the best deals on pretty much anything. So we've actually made our way over here to Micro Center in Tustin. It's just moments before the door is open. You can see that the line is already backed up. We're actually parked on the side of the building, and the line's already wrapped around. Wifey Sauce is actually standing in line right now while I sit here in the car because I don't want to get recognized by anyone before I even enter the building, and I don't want the whole thing to turn into some kind of fan meetup. We're gonna be building a $500 PC. That's the budget we're working with. We could have gone $800, $1,000, but I feel like 500 is really gonna challenge us. So we've got a couple things against us right now, like RAM pricing, GPU pricing, but at the same time, it is Black Friday. So hopefully we can build the best gaming PC we can for a $500 budget. The line's moving. We got Wifey Sauce calling. Yeah.
It looks like they're just letting everyone in all at once, so just come on in line. Hurry up, I'm almost to the front.
Okay, I'm coming. So the first course of action, I think, is probably to get a CPU. I generally start with the CPU when parting out a build, and of course it's going to get really crowded there really quick, so let's do that swiftly. Wow, the CPUs are already swarmed, particularly seems to be high interest in the Ryzen CPUs, which makes a lot of sense given all the price drops lately. All right, so there's a 1500X here for 160. We've also got a Ryzen 3 1200 for $100, save 10 bucks. I'm gonna go with this. We get a quad core, we can overclock it well beyond 3.1 gigahertz, and I think at this point I'm gonna have Wifey Sauce is actually already in line. There's a long line just for CPU ordering, so while she's doing that, I'm gonna pick out a B350 motherboard or an A320 motherboard. We have an Asus Prime A320MK for $54, $55. That's a pretty good deal, actually. Looks like a micro ATX board. It's only got 2 DIMM slots, but that's totally fine. One full-size by 16 slot. This is literally the cheapest AM4 board they have here, so I think this is our guy. Okay, I think these are a little bit underpowered for our budget. I was thinking the GTX 1050 or a TI, depending on what kind of pricing we see. We've got 140 bucks for this GTX 1050, or I was eyeing this guy, 1050 Ti super clocked for 160, but I think this might be our winner here for a GTX 1050 Ti. It's not super clocked or anything. We can just do some manual overclocking, but 145 bucks. I just checked online. This is about 20 bucks cheaper than Amazon has it right now, and about $10 cheaper than Newegg. So I think tentatively we'll pick this guy out. If we have any left over, maybe we could go for like a 1063 gig, but this should be a nice pairing for our CPU. All right, this is where we're gonna get killed. We've got an 8 gig HyperX Fury. This is just a single module for 95 bucks. Or for the same price, we can get another 8 gig stick or kit, but 2x4 gigs. So I think dual channel makes a lot more sense. Wifey Sauce is calling me. Sorry. Did you get it?
Well, I got the piece of paper to get it.
Oh, cool. So that was for the 1200, right?
Yes.
For what, 100 bucks, right?
100 bucks.
So let's do the math here really quick. This is $95. That's 195, 145, 55, 395. So we literally have $105 left in our budget.
145?
105.
105.
$105 to get case,
a cooler,
power supply. The CPU comes with a cooler, so that's good. We just need case, power supply, storage. All right. I think it's going to be tight, but I think we can manage.
All right, let's do it.
All right, case, or no, what should we do next? Look, honey, this is a 400 watt Diablo Tech for $15. These are actually known to catch fire. This is a Logysis 480, 17 bucks. 17 bucks. This is not quite as bad as Diablo Tech, but not a huge step up either. We probably couldn't afford something like a semi-quality Antec power supply because these are going for 35, so that's a no-go. What is this? Logysis 650 watt, 25 bucks. What? 80 plus? Seriously? Okay. Let's hold on to this for now. So we have like 80 bucks left for a case and storage. I did not see any hot enough deals on SSDs to make NAND flash an option for this rig. So I did find a 1 terabyte Toshiba drive for a mechanical drive for $40. That would give us $40 for a case. I say we just do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we finally decided that we needed a cart. We have a couple case options here. We have a Thermaltake V3 Black Edition for $35. This is used, of course. It's missing like a 5 1/4 inch cover here, but I don't really care about that. I just like how the front is all mesh, so we'll get some pretty decent airflow, even though we have some fairly low-powered components in here. This is more or less within our budget, $44, but it looks pretty closed off. There's another Thermaltake case. I'm just not so sure about the front panel. I don't know where the hell the intake comes from. Maybe right there. Yeah, that's probably not gonna cut it. There's also, I was thinking this guy right here, but that's a little over our budget, and it's mini ITX. All right, so I ended up going with the Thermaltake one, even though it's got a missing cover here. It still seems to be much higher quality than the Cooler Master case. It's got a black painted interior where the other one does not. It's also got a single included 120 millimeter fan in the back there that I might actually install to the front just to give us a bit more intake and positive air pressure. And then at that point, I think we're good. I think we're done. Let's check out. So it actually turns out we had pulled the model case or the display case, which is a no-no. So we actually have to wait in line right now so that they can pull in from the warehouse. But that's awesome because I was under the impression that we were just gonna get that used case.
So
we're actually getting a new one for $35. A new case for $35. That's awesome. And then I think that still means we have $5 left over for all the RGB in the world. Priorities. So actually, we just got the V3. Here it is. A friendly staff member brought it out for us, but also suggested that there was another case that was only $5 more, which is within our budget. That is a little bit better. So we have a $40 case here, the Thermaltake Versa H22. It actually has more than one fan in it. I think he said that there was like 3 or 4 fans in here. It looks just about as good in terms of build quality as the other one, but look, USB 3. That pretty much sold me right there. So that really brings our total to exactly $500 before tax. So sweet. And I think there it is right there. There she is. Oh yeah, thank you so much, sir. Can you confirm the total once more for us, please?
$509.58.
And that's with or without tax?
With the tax.
Oh yeah. Charge it. All right, well that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed our little shopping spree there at Micro Center, but it was also pretty hectic on Black Friday and all, so I'm happy to be away from the crowds. But we've got all of our hardware here laid out in front of us. We're seeing all of it together for the first time. So I was just gonna quickly run down each of them, just to give you a quick refresher on what we came away with, and then we can go ahead and start building. I'm not gonna do any testing until part 2. There's gonna be a 2-part thing. Forgive me if you guys were expecting performance numbers in this video, but at the very least, we should be able to put together a pretty nice build for our $500 budget. Starting with our Ryzen 3 1200, we got a quad core, does not feature SMT, so we only got 4 cores and 4 threads with a base clock of 3.1 gigahertz. We're pairing that with an Asus Prime A320MK. It's micro ATX motherboard, AM4 of course on the A320 chipset. I've actually never built a system with the A320 chipset before, so that's kind of exciting. It looks like a pretty decent board. I mean, it's very basic. It's got, you know, all the things you would need. It's got M.2. Looks like it's got a USB 3.1 header on there. We're pairing that with an 8GB kit of HyperX Fury. This is actually a 2-module kit. So we've got 2 sticks with 4 gigs on them each, running at 2400 megahertz or mega transfers per second. A Logysis 650 watt power supply, which I initially saw to be 80 plus, but it's actually 80 plus gold. It's not just, I thought it was just like, you know, where like the really low end 80 plus where it doesn't even have a metal attached to it. This is actually 80 plus gold. So, and the fact that we're running a pretty low power system means that we'll definitely have enough juice to drive everything. But again, let's just hope that it, knock on wood, that it doesn't blow up. Then we've got a Geforce Gtx 1050 Ti from EVGA. This is just a regular gaming edition card. It's not super clocked or super duper clocked or anything like that. But it does have 4 gigs of GDDR5, and it is a pretty nice card for entry-level gaming. This is gonna get our foot in the door to PC gaming for under $500 or under or around $500. Then we have a 1 terabyte Toshiba hard drive. I believe it's 7200 RPM. It doesn't say anywhere on the actual package. maybe it says on the drive itself. It doesn't actually list the RPM anywhere on the hard drive either, so I would assume and definitely hope that it is 7,200 RPM, and if there was one regret of this entire build, it's that we just didn't have the budget to get an SSD in here. So we are going to be suffering from some slower boot times and load times and things like that, but it's certainly something that's easy to upgrade later down the line, and at the very least we can get the system up and running just fine. And finally, we've got this Thermaltake Versa H22 Plus mid-tower case. It is very entry level. I've actually never worked with this case in particular before, so I'm very curious to see what we get out of it for the 40 bucks we paid. But those are all the parts, guys. I'll link everything in the description below in case you want to find out more, or links to buy and stuff like that. But I think we're ready to start building, so let's go ahead and piece this together. Alright guys, system is complete. Went pretty smoothly actually. I should mention that this case comes included with 4 case fans. That's pretty impressive for a $40 case, and they're fairly quiet. I mean, mind you, I actually had to pipe 2 of them into a couple Molex to 2-pin adapters straight from the power supply, because we only had 2 fan headers on our motherboard, including the CPU fan header. But all things considered, it's fairly quiet, it's not too intrusive, and you can definitely feel like quite a bit of air moving through the case, which is nice. Cable management in this case actually wasn't as bad as I thought. I mean, obviously you don't have a power supply shroud or fancy rubber grommets. You can't really expect to have those things with a $40 chassis. But that being said, you do have ample room behind the motherboard tray. It's about ½ an inch, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually plenty considering the type of hardware that you would be putting inside of a case like this. So that is to say that I was actually able to get all the cables out and away from this main compartment area, the main chamber, so that we just have unimpeded airflow going through our case. You might see the power supply is a little scuffed up. That's because I actually had to remove, or I didn't have to, but I decided to remove the ugly sticker that was on here. I didn't film that, I didn't think it was that important, but in the process I kind of scuffed up the power supply. Trust me when I say that it looks better scuffed up like this than it did out of the box. On a final note, we didn't really have the budget to make this system look as pretty as it could possibly be. You do get a blue LED fan at the front, which I was unaware of, so I guess that's our sorry excuse for bling for today's build. But that is pretty much it. Overall, lovely build. A lovely foot in the door for PC gaming, and for less than $500, mind you. Or I guess more than $500 if you consider tax in the state of California. But wait for part 2. Part 2, I'm going to be testing this guy. We're going to be doing some overclocking. We'll be checking out benchmarks and taking a closer look at thermals and acoustics. Should be fun. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good Black Friday if you decided to shop, whether online or in store. Hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of some killer deals. Let me know what you got, if anything, for Black Friday in the comments below. You can also toss me a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And as always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more tech stuff coming at you really soon. You can also check me out on FLOATPLANE if you want to watch my videos a week early without ads. Pretty sexy. Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.